So I was talking to you guys and explaining that why is it that I am telling you that in the future you are going to see four major banks dominate the US banking, and all of this it's done by design. So I want to give you guys a little bit broader situation about what's going on right now, so you guys understand what we need to do. So in the past few weeks, basically billions upon billions of dollars has been withdrawn from all these small banks. And as a matter of fact, there is a report that it says that $120 billion has been withdrawn from small banks. And guess what happened? $67 billion it went to big banks. So number one thing that we have to understand is this: when the small banks they get destroyed, who gets the benefit? The big banks. So if the big banks they're getting all these deposits, that means the smaller banks they're getting weaker and weaker by the day. There is about 200 banks that are about to fail. Most of them are regional banks and small banks, right? So when all this money is coming out of these small banks, it has to go somewhere. That somewhere is some people, they may put it in a money market accounts, but most people, they go deposit where? JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank. So now the next step of this whole situation is this: Federal Reserve told all these small banks that you can bring your worthless mortgage-backed securities and bonds, and I'm going to give you full amount and you can get a loan for a year. So when Fed does that, naturally one thing is going to happen is that people that they are following the news, people that they're listening to the social media, what is the common sense? The common sense, it says, wait a minute, if you are banking somewhere like First Republic, Co-America, right? I'm just giving you a name. Why in the world you keep your money in a bank that is about to go bankrupt? So what do? You go, you take your money, and you, in your logical way, you say, I'm going to put it in a bigger banks that are much, much safer, and I don't have to deal with the, headaches, right? So because of this, even though small banks, they can go to this new facility, which was called Bank Term Funding Program, and borrow money. What are they going to do with the money that they borrow? If people, they are taking money out of the banks and they put it in a bigger banks, all these regional banks, within 1 year, they're going to get destroyed. And the money flows out of this regional banks, it goes to the major banks. So you see where I'm going with this. The more regional banks they have problem, the stronger and bigger the major banks, the four players, they become larger and bigger and stronger. Now, within that, as the regional banks, they get crushed with this whole situation, there is another problem. What is the problem? Well, the problem is that there is a report, that this report, it says that nearly 80% of the commercial loans are held by regional banks. Well, if 80% of the commercial loans are held by regional banks are getting destroyed, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to have a much, much bigger problem in your hand, to the point that Harnett from Bank of America came on TV a couple of days ago, and he said that commercial real estate is the next shoe to drop. Well, we know all of that. Why is that? Because there is about $2.3 trillion of commercial loan that is going to become mature. About 450 billion of that is going to mature this year. Now, how in the world all these regional banks that they are getting crushed, people they're withdrawing money, and they got loans from government and Fed, how are they going to refinance $450 billion? Well, it's very simple. What's going to happen is this. First of all, 40% of the banks right now, they have stopped lending. Why is that? Because they're not lending because they fear that this is going to get worse and they're going to be in a much bigger trouble. So what do? The big banks, they take the money, the cash that they have, and they park it with Fed. Why? Because they get interest. No matter how much interest they get, even if they get 0.5%, 1%, they are getting interest. When you park in a reverse repo, I believe that's what it's called, you get interest. So when you get interest from the Fed, why in the world you would bring the cash and lend it out? So very quickly, the number one that happens is that there is a credit crunch. There is lenders, 40%, they're not lending money. So the commercial loans that is held by all these regional banks, $450 billion, what's going to happen to those? Who's going to refinance those? Well, it's very simple. Either the banks, they're going to foreclose on all these commercial properties, which they don't want to do that. Or what's going to happen is they are going to take a haircut and try unloading all these loans, because they know that this by itself, it's going to wipe out all these banks in a matter of a few months. So the next point is this, that there is an article in Wall Street Journal. It says that office landlord defaults are escalating as landlords brace for more distress. So in my previous video, I talked to you guys, I said that Blackstone or BlackRock, I don't remember exactly which one, they had bought a mixed use office building and retail in Las Vegas for $13 billion, and their loan is $235 million. They're not paying it. They're not paying it. Now, there is another article from Wealth that it says PIMCO-owned office landlords default on $1.7 billion mortgage. Now, there is another also company called Brookfield. Brookfield's default on 2 Los Angeles towers. So you see where I'm going? All of this banking that you see, it's distress and all this problem is happening, it's only going to get worse. For the small banks, there is no daylight, because how can they survive? They're in the life support right now. Now, some people, they say, well, no, this is going to be, everything is going to be fine and dandy, which is fine. Again, this is my opinion. I do research and I share with you guys. You guys do whatever you want with it. But now, let me tell you why am I keep stressing this issue, that this is all done by design. We have no power and control when it comes to Federal Reserve. They have no conscience. They are central banks. They are bankers. They do not give a damn about you or me. They're all about money and profit and power. control. Remember this. This is about control. So if Fed increase the rate to fight inflation, and it sees that it's not getting the results that they want. But guess what? If they break the banking system, as you can see now, this has spread to Europe, right? First it was the Swiss Credit Bank, and now it's Deutsche Bank. So this is going to continue, go on and on and on. Now, the Fed says, okay, so if I break the banking system, see what's going to happen. Number one, credit crunch. With autos, with house, with everything. Commercial industry, $450 billion loan is maturing the next few months. This by itself is going to crush the commercial real estate. Crushing of the commercial real estate, it's going to backdrop and it's going to drop all over the place, even in the residential. Now, what's going to happen is this is going to cause bankruptcies, massive layoffs, slowing down the economy, taking to the recession. You have to understand this. Remember, Fed is going to crush the economy. It's going to take it to an even very difficult recession to be able to control the inflation. Because remember this, if Fed takes the foot out of the gas pedal, this is what's going to happen. We will have a hyperinflation, which is going to be uncontrollable. Fed knows that, therefore Fed is going to crush the economy. And this is already by design, because now they have increased the rate, and also on the other hand, banking is collapsing, and then as the banks, they collapse, now that the credit crunch comes, they don't want to lend. Because of that, it's going to affect layoffs, it's going to affect mortgages in the commercial and residential. It's gonna, so you see, it's like, it's a chain reaction. The Fed did this by design so they can crush everything and so they can control it. Now, again, I always say, be prepared, be smart, be intelligent. Listen, learn, surround yourself with good people, so when the opportunities they come, you can make money. This is all about being informed, ready, and when the right time comes, you pull the trigger, and with the right team that you surround yourself, you can make a lot of money. People that they become, always remember, in the down times, there are more millionaires that they become versus when there's a good time. So this is a time to be prepared. As always, have a wonderful week and good luck out there.